O Muhammad, your Lord invites you to his presence.
No man crosses 1,000 miles in a single breath. It has to be a legend.
It is for your benefit that I go, for if I do not go, the Comforter will not come to you. I know the paths of the heavens better than the paths of the earth. Today, a gate in the heavens was opened, one that had never been opened before, a night that may have bent time itself. How far does it really go? This is the story of the night one man's journey shattered the boundaries of distance, the heavens, and maybe even time itself. You are watching Islamic Legacy History. Subscribe and share for more untold stories from Islamic history. If you're ready, let's begin.
Before this night, our Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, had already lived through more sorrow than most of us will ever carry. For years, he called his people to the truth of one God, and for years, most of them refused to listen. He was mocked, he was insulted, and for a time his own clan was boycotted, cut off from food and trade simply for standing beside him. Then came Ta'if, a town he walked to in hope and left bleeding, driven out by stones. Even then, he asked Allah to guide the children of the very people who hurt him, rather than to punish them. In that same bitter season, he lost the two people who had sheltered him most, his wife Khadija, may Allah be pleased with her, and his uncle Abu Talib. So much grief gathered into a single year that history simply calls it the year of sorrow. He was alone in a way he had rarely been alone before, and it was precisely then, in the depth of that loneliness, that the heavens moved to answer him. One night, the angel Jibril, peace be upon him, came to wake him, not with another trial, but with an invitation. The Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, was resting near the Kaaba when Jibril appeared and spoke the words that changed everything.
Your Lord invites you to his presence.
Before him stood Buraq, a swift white steed whose very name comes from a word meaning lightning, or radiant light, smaller than a mule yet faster than the eye could follow, said to place its hoof at the farthest point it could see. In moments, Buraq carried him across nearly 1,000 miles, from Mecca to Al-Masjid Al-Aqsa in Jerusalem, with Jibril at his side. This part of the journey is called the Isra, the night journey, and it alone should give us pause. How does a man cross that distance and return before the night even ends? For centuries, skeptics have asked that same question, certain no journey like this could survive contact with reason. But here is what almost no one tells you. Some of the very ideas modern physics now takes seriously. The bending of time, the slowing of clocks at extreme speed, even the theoretical existence of shortcuts through space were quietly pointed to on this very night, centuries before Einstein. At Al-Masjid Al-Aqsa, the night journey ends, and something far greater begins. The Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, begins his ascent through 7 heavens, the Miraj, and at each level he meets a different prophet who came before him. He greets Isa and Yahya, then Yusuf, whose beauty Allah had made unmatched among people, then Idris, then Musa, who weeps not from sorrow, but because he knows more of the Prophet's followers will enter paradise than his own people. Finally, in the 7th heaven, he stands before Ibrahim, peace be upon them all, the father of the prophets, resting against the sacred house that sits directly above the Kaaba itself. Each meeting is its own quiet miracle, light passed from one messenger to the next. The ascent rises until it reaches Sidrat al-Muntaha, the boundary at the very edge of creation. Here, even Jibril stops. He tells the Prophet that one step further would burn him. Beyond this point, only the Prophet continues, alone, into a nearness no created being has ever reached. There, he is shown paradise, its gardens and its rivers of milk and honey, and he is shown hell and the suffering of those who wronged themselves. And this is where the story quietly raises a question that should stop us in our tracks. The day of judgment has not yet come. No soul has yet entered hell. So how could the prophet witness torment that, by every account, has not happened yet? Unless the Miraj was not only a journey through space, but somehow through time, a glimpse carried forward into a future not yet written. It sounds impossible until you remember that the Quran itself had already pointed toward this idea centuries before Einstein. Surah As-Sajda tells us that matters of the heavens ascend to Allah across a day equal to 1,000 of our years, and Surah Al-Ma'arij describes a day equal to 50,000. Time, it seems, was never as fixed as it feels. Modern science would not begin to catch up for roughly 14 centuries. Einstein's theory of relativity showed that time slows as speed increases, and that near the speed of light, it can nearly stand still. In the 1990s, this was tested directly. 2 synchronized atomic clocks, one kept on the ground, one flown at high speed aboard an aircraft. When they were compared afterward, they no longer agreed, only by a billionth of a second, but enough to prove that motion truly does bend time. If human technology can bend time simply by flying through the sky, what becomes possible when the creator of time himself moves his most beloved servant? Mass and energy can bend time further still, and immense objects like black holes warp it more, opening, at least on paper, a theoretical bridge between one point in time and another. Scientists call these theoretical shortcuts wormholes, and strikingly, the Quran describes the heavens as holding pathways, hidden routes folded through creation. Even Ali, may Allah be pleased with him, once said that he knew the paths of the heavens better than the paths of the earth. None of this is offered as proof. Faith was never dependent on proof, but it shows that what once sounded impossible sits closer to reason than we assumed. So why did this journey have to happen at all? Think of it this way. If a king wanted to raise one soldier into the supreme commander of his entire army, he would not simply hand him a title. He would walk him through every rank himself until he understood the whole army from the inside. The prophet's mission was to teach all of humanity until the end of time. So before he could teach it, he needed to see it. Paradise, hell, the heavens, all of it, he witnessed firsthand, so the rest of us would not have to take it only on faith. And as for whether this breaks the laws of physics, remember who wrote those laws in the first place. The same power that turned fire cool and harmless for Ibrahim and turned a whale's belly into shelter for Yunus, peace be upon them, could just as easily carry his prophet beyond the sky. A law is only binding on those who did not write it. So could this all have simply been a dream? Here is why that answer never held up. The opening verse of Surah Al-Isra does not say Allah moved the prophet's soul. It says he moved his servant, Abd, a word that means a complete being, body and soul together, exactly as we exist. The same verses describe him walking, physically, by night, present, whole, in motion, not drifting through a vision. Later, Surah An-Najm describes him near Sidrat al-Muntaha and states plainly that his sight did not swerve, nor did it exceed its limit, the language of someone who was truly there, truly seeing. When the prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, returned and told his people what had happened, the disbelievers mocked him openly, certain they had caught him in an impossible claim. But one man did not hesitate for even a moment. Abu Bakr, may Allah be pleased with him, heard the news and said simply,
If the Prophet said it, then it is true.
From that instant, he carried a title for the rest of his life, As-Siddiq, the truthful one. No one earns a title like that for believing someone else's dream. Nearly 20 companions would go on to narrate this night, so faithfully that Imam Bukhari recorded 26 versions from 6 of them, and Imam Muslim recorded 16 more from 7 others. Too many witnesses, too consistent, to dismiss as imagination.
This was real, body and soul together, in a single night.
And out of that night, we were given something we still hold today. Salah, the 5 daily prayers, was the gift the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him,
carried back down through the heavens for every one of us.
Each time we stand, bow, and place our forehead on the ground, we echo in miniature the same nearness he reached that night. Scholars have long said it plainly. Prayer is the believer's own Miraj.
So if you have ever felt distant from it, let this be the night that changes that.
14 centuries ago, the sky opened for one man so that the rest of us would never stop reaching upward.
Subscribe for more untold stories from Islamic history.